think the most expensive item in the premium shop is a house skin, right? Well, it's not. You also probably haven't thought about the fact that the total of every premium shop item is not 120,000 moonstones.
That is over $400
in real life cash, just over the course of 39 weeks. This is exactly how microtransactions work, and Disney Dreamlight Valley has really gotten them down by now. And you know, at the start, everyone was pretty enraged by the premium shop, but it actually really makes sense why they're doing everything that they're doing. I want to do a little bit of analyzation, so that's what I did. So the most expensive item that has been in the premium shop so far is the Royal Deco living room furniture set. This item was available for the first week of the premium shop's release, and they have not brought it back since. It is valued at 4,850 moonstones. You literally couldn't buy it with one winning dream snap. The second pricing tier for premium shop items is literally over 1,000 moonstones less than this. In my opinion, house reskins should be the most expensive items because pretty much all of us are in love with them. Also, I think for the most part, most people like character reskins and companions, mostly because they're really useful in dream snaps. In my opinion, furniture and clothing items should be the cheapest items in the game. And honestly, when you add up all the prices, this is pretty well reflected throughout the game. When you separate items based on categories, on average, house skins are the most expensive items at 3,375 moonstones. Character skins take third place at 2,500 moonstones on average. Companions are 2,143 moonstones on average. Furniture sets are 1,783 moonstones on average. And the cheapest items are typically clothing sets at 1,330 moonstones on average. Plus, if you take the 10 cheapest items that have been in the premium shop so far, they are all clothing or furniture sets. As for the top 10 most expensive items, they're almost all house skins or tool sets, which of course makes sense. But then you have these 3 furniture sets. Funnily enough, all 3 of those sets were in the first week that the premium shop was released. So there are 2 possibilities here. Either when Gameloft released this feature, they were too stupid or too greedy to know what price to set their items at, and then they kind of honed in a little bit once they saw the backlash they were receiving and maybe changed some of the item prices. Second theory, maybe these items are like exclusive items. Those 3 furniture sets at least, because the one palace house skin has returned back to the shop after that first week. But for the furniture sets, all the Royal Deco sets, maybe they're like exclusive to first week buyers because they're way more expensive, and like I said, they never came back. So I don't know. Just a thought. I'll put all the pricing tiers for every premium shop item on screen, so pause if you want to check it out now. I didn't convert any of these to real prices, but essentially $1 is equal to somewhere between 240 and 290 moonstones. You can do the math if you would like. So a few more things that I noticed in the price rankings before I move on to the week by week analysis. So first of all, every single tool set that we've gotten has been valued at 3,750 moonstones, which personally I think is way too much for a tool reskin. Additionally, every character reskin has been placed at 2,500 moonstones. So with these 2 types of items, it seems like you always know what you're gonna get with those. However, we don't have a lot of data, so this may change later on. We'll be getting a new skin for Belle, so that's a good time to test out a lot of my theories here. In terms of companions, usually if it's a set, or if it's just kind of like a random reskin, it's 2,000 moonstones. However, the ghostly Zero Fox reskin was valued at 3,000 moonstones, which gives me the feeling that if it's tied to like a particular brand, they'll up the price. Lastly, apparently not all house skins are made equal. The Haunted Mansion bundle, the Palace, the Nightmare Castle, and the Sweet House were all 3,750 moonstones, whereas the Mushroom Manor, the Purple Cottage, the Beach House, and Mike and Sully's apartment were all valued at 3,000 moonstones. For this one, I couldn't really tell you what makes some of them 750 moonstones more expensive. I do get a sense that Disney Dreamlight Valley loves like the royal concept and places those items on like a pedestal, i.e. the Ultimate Edition, and also the fact that the entirety of week 1's premium shop was literally just royal objects. So I think that might be relevant here. And also, the Haunted Mansion bundle does have 2 skins. The only one that I can't really explain is the Sweet House. I don't know why that's more expensive than, say, the Beach House or the Cottage or the Mushroom Manor. One other thing that I actually do think is pretty cool is that the first Pride Lands backpack set is about 750 moonstones more than the second set, and that's because one has 3 items and one has 2 items, and if you do the math, each backpack is valued at $750. So that's one where the math 100% adds up. I'm not questioning their logic there at all. Maybe their prices, but not their logic. Moving on, if we take a look at every individual week of the premium shop, we can notice a lot of patterns. So first, I do have to explain that every week I give the premium shop a minimum and a maximum value. Essentially, the maximum will be all 4 items added up in total, regardless of if those items are repeats or not. The minimum value subtracts any repeats from the equation. First, I'll put my numbers up on the screen and then we can talk about them. So the most expensive week so far, I'm sure you guys guessed it by now, was actually the very first week of the premium shop release. These were obviously all new items, so it cost 15,005 moonstones. The second most expensive week was the week that the Haunted Mansion bundle was released with a lot of other Halloween items. Now, if you do remember correctly, the Haunted Mansion bundle was released and then immediately taken out of the shop and replaced with the Tower of Terror. However, whether you use the Haunted Mansion or the Tower of Terror for the week, it still costs the same amount. They both added up to 11,000 moonstones. Once again, these were all new items, so there was no chance of this being cheaper. And lastly, the third most expensive week was actually the most recent week at 10,500 moonstones maximum price. However, all 4 items were repeats, so it's possible that it was free for a lot of players. And those 3 most expensive weeks were the only weeks that the total was more than 10,000 moonstones. In comparison, of course, the cheapest weeks are going to be the one where there were 4 repeats and you basically get a free week if you own all the items. However, at base value, the cheapest week was week 3 at 5,450 moonstones. What I honestly find the most interesting is even though week 1 was so painfully expensive, the next 5 weeks after that were super cheap. There were 3 weeks in the first 6 that the total cost of items were between the 5,000 and 6,000 moonstone range. Since then, there has not been a single week that was below 6k moonstones. And speaking of those first 6 weeks, this was obviously a time for them to just kind of throw out new items since it was just released. After that, there were like a lot of weeks with repeats. It does seem like there's a bit of a pattern with how they do it. I would need a bit more data to prove like actual correlation, but it seems like around update time, Disney Dreamlight Valley loves to do multiple weeks of only repeat items in the shop right before there's a huge drop of 4 new huge items. So we're gonna get a little bit sidetracked here, but I think that obviously their premium shop really correlates with the dream snaps and with the updates. But if you think about this in relevancy to the upcoming December 5th update and the Rift in Time expansion pass, I think they're gonna implement it very strategically. So think about it. We already had a Halloween themed star pass and a few Halloween dream snaps, plus this upcoming update is a little bit too early for Christmas. So all of those Christmas dream snaps are probably gonna come a bit later, and then the winter star pass will provide all of the items for said dream snap. So when we get Jack Skellington, all of those Halloween items and all of those Christmas items will kind of be covered already. If they're gonna release unique and relevant items to the shop, take a guess at what kind of items they're probably gonna be dropping. My guess is that the items that are coming right after the December 5th update are gonna be very relevant to the Rift in Time expansion pass. So maybe we'll get like Tangled items or Aladdin items, or maybe we'll even get like stuff that's heavily related to Gaston or Eve. They might even go as far to put a character skin for one of the new characters in the shop. One thing I do have to say about that is I have no idea how it would work. Like, I think most of the skins that they've released have been for characters that we already had default in our valley. Like Mickey and Goofy and Merlin and Scrooge, I think we're all already there when you start the game. But like for Donald and also the characters in the bundle like Ursula and Wally, you have to unlock all of those, right? So what happens if you buy the skin but you don't have the character? Is it just available for you later on? Like, you're still able to buy it, right? I'm not really sure, so I don't know how it would work. However, I kind of feel like if they would maybe release skins for the characters that are in the expansion pass, they're gonna have it available in the premium shop, but they're gonna be like blacked out or something, and then have like text on top of it saying this is only available for people with the Rift in Time expansion pass. Wouldn't that be really rough? Either way, I think everything really interlaps with one another. Obviously, you can play for free, but they really do their best to tempt you not to. I think most of us are a fan of dream snaps, but even then, it's just really a part of the hamster wheel. If there's an item in the premium shop that will help you do better at dream snaps, then you're gonna buy it, and then you're gonna get better results in dream snaps, which will then give you more money to buy more items to do better at dream snaps. The only issue is that even with dream snaps, And with the chest, we still would never have enough to purchase every single thing in the shop. So remember that big number that I brought up earlier, 120,000 moonstones to buy every single thing in the shop so far? Well, say since the first day the premium shop was released, you opened every single blue chest, and then say you participated in every single dream snaps, voting, and your submissions, and say you did well enough every single time to earn 4K moonstones. The total you would have accumulated is 78,450 moonstones, which still means you would have to cough up 41,550 moonstones of your own money to get every single item. Oh, but Jaden, what if I open every single blue chest since the beginning of the game's release? First of all, there's no way. But even if you did, the maximum I still added up in this scenario was 86,450 moonstones. And this is under the implication that every single blue chest gave 50 moonstones, which is not true because I know there was a while where they were only giving 10, but I couldn't find the date that changed, so I just put it all to 50. And even with that, you still wouldn't have enough. And lastly, yes, I do know that you can get more than 4,000 moonstones for a dream snap, but realistically, how many people have gotten into the top 5? More than a handful of times, much less all 16 weeks. But I'll give you guys a true maximum number. If you got first place in every single dream snap so far, did all of your voting, picked up every single blue chest, under the implication that every chest is 50 moonstones. Because like I said, I don't know how many days were actually 10. 214,450 moonstones. But let's be realistic, guys. How many of us are actually in that predicament? I don't think many of us could afford the entire shop unless we pulled out money from our own pockets. So that is all, guys. I feel like I've been crunching numbers for so long, I'm literally doing math in my dreams. So if you appreciate all the random things that I analyzed and calculated for this video, please go ahead and give it a like. And please comment if you saw any mistakes because I'm sure there's a few in here. Or if you hate math, comment something random, like a squid emoji, or honestly any other thing that you feel like. Also, if you're feeling generous, you can even subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next video. But if not, bye-bye!